All right, what's going on, guys? We've got it rolling. We've got ourselves a little SFT tournament going on today. Um, we're just gonna be rolling through it nice and quick, just to get some metadata. That's really the point of these early tournaments. Just really want to get in and see how it's gonna be, with what may or may not need to be banned, what may or may not need to be adjusted and whatnot. So, you know, we're going to get them nice and rolling through here. I need to actually go see who my first opponent is. Oh shit, it's Elvio. Let's go. So I'm going to go ahead and pop him an invite over. And we'll find out who he's playing. I'm really curious to see. We haven't played before, but we've had some good conversations recently. He's a really cool guy. Here we go. Just answering some questions for some folks. I'm doing the tournaments a little bit ahead of time, just like getting matches moving a little bit sooner. Okay. So Harrison is playing Revan twice, it looks like, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I see. So they're playing in round 4 and 3. Okay. Are there any other duplicates? Let me just let Elvia know. Alright, so if Harrison or Revan are playing in that round, they're playing in 3 and 4, that's a duplicate. Let's see about these guys. Are they playing at any point? Alexander is playing Falling Star, Soli, and Halidin. Okay. As long as they're not playing one another at any point. Harrison and Soli. Harrison and Via. Yeah, okay, perfect. This is going to work out nicely. God, there's so many people with similar-ish names. Okay, that's the right one. We've got like 5 Revens in here. When you go into the back end, you have to be sure that you got the right people being matched up against one another, so you don't move people who aren't even in the tourney around into places. Sweet. Okay. We should be set in just a moment. Sorry to like hold it up a little bit here, guys. I just want to make sure that everybody is situated. I don't want people to. I know that generating the bracket ahead of time can cause a little bit of like chaos in the early rounds, just as people like try to get situated. But it's better doing it this way, in my opinion, than going along. In terms of time's sake, I just want to run a quick tourney, get a little bit of madness going in here, and find out, get some like matchup data on stuff, so that future tourneys I can set up and we know what may need to be restricted or not, and what factions may or may not be like overperforming madly after the most recent patch. I don't really anticipate that being a problem per se. I know that some of the factions are doing very nicely for themselves, so that's usually how the opening tourneys end up being. Just as more games get played, those like performances, those high performances in early tournaments tend to even out for factions, but it's good to know what we might need to fix up over time. Right. Boom, 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 boom. So we've got Elvio, Falling Star, Safari Jack, and Rusto. We've got some pretty good opponents in here. Really hype. Sick. Oh shit, Zinch versus Korn. I played this in Harrison's tournament last night. It was a pretty good fight, so we'll see how Elvio plays it. He might play it a little bit differently from how Harrison did it. So I may need to mix things up, but other than the usual stuff, I think I feel pretty confident in this matchup. It can be a little tricky for Korn at times. Just because Zinch has some really strong tools in terms of like ranged units, but you do have some pretty decent answers to them in your own right. You just have to be sure to like lock in and play aggressively against these guys is what I've really found to be the most successful strategy against Zinch. Zinch is very comfortable like playing at their own pace, so you really kind of have to lock in and disrupt that. so that they can't just push you around, basically. I'm gonna leave y'all hanging over here for a moment. Show y'all the bracket. That's what it's looking like right now. I'm gonna pick my army and get it all sorted, and then we can kick off the match, and y'all get to see what I'm up to. I've been really liking the current patch so far. It's really mixed things up quite a bit. It doesn't change anything too drastic, which is also kind of nice in its own right. It's just really kind of brought some other units that weren't quite as popular back to the fore, which is kind of what CA was saying in the patch notes that they were trying to do with this, was just kind of mix it up a little. I really appreciate them going out of their way to specify exactly what it was that they're trying to do here. Actually do this. Okay. This will be a little safer than they have been in the past in this matchup, so I'm going to bring some of them. Got some of this and that. I don't think those will be very good. That's a little too deep into that. The last little bit of gold, I swear, trying to pick what you're bringing as corn is always the most difficult. Because alternately it gets really tight, but then also you've got all these really like strong units that you kind of want to make sure that you can fit in and get some good use out of. No, it's a little too aggressive, maybe. I think I like having some of these guys in here. Sometimes I feel like corn just needs a little bit more, like, mid-tier mobility. You know, because you got, like, the Marauder Horsemen, you've got Flesh Hounds and Chaos Furies and stuff. They all fill, like, specific roles, and you don't have anything that's very generalist in that position. You don't really get anything different until you get up to, like, Chaos Knights, which are just, like, an entire tier above in terms of cost. So it can be a little bit complicated at times, trying to, like, even out your faction. Damn, maybe I do bring another one of these. When I'm just thinking about it, I think I do kind of want the extra mobility and punishment. Alright, I'm swapping you all over. Let's get ready to roll, guys. So we've got a Zinch vs. Corn matchup. Here in the early going against Elvio. Should be a pretty good match. Oh, damn, I'm on the wrong fucking map. That's embarrassing. I got so busy doing all this admin stuff that I forgot to swap it over.
You have been bested.
We're on Geyser Bluff. There we go. Okay. Alright, welcome, welcome. Getting it going, getting it rolling, making it happen. Drink some of my coffee here. I've got a housemate that works at Starbucks, so they actually get pretty good coffee for us on a regular basis, which is pretty awesome. Alright. Leave these guys back here. I brought a unit of Chosen. I thought they would be really nice in this matchup. They can handle Chosen blobs from Tzeentch pretty nicely, so I do kind of like having them in here. I actually think I might move the Chaos Warriors to just go for the contested middle objective. Because this one does have a home objective. You can kind of keep this pretty safe. Pretty easily. Might just leave a Marauder back there. You don't want to contest too heavily on your home objective on these kind of maps. It's usually a pretty good idea to try and get aggressive onto the middle as early as possible. That's what I'm going to be trying to do. And you can sometimes opponents, when they see just like a Marauder on home objectives, they'll try and like push that really aggressively. And Khorne has like good enough tools to respond efficiently. I've got like lots of units I can bring out of this Vanguard. Now, the deployment zones are pretty far back, honestly, even though this is a small map. It can take a while for infantry to get back up to points. Which is kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to get up to the middle with more infantry than my opponent's going to be bringing up, and I probably have better quality infantry than him. Khorne Mortals tend to do really well even against the Tzeentch Demons, just because the Popcorn Bandits, you know, the little, the pink horrors and stuff, they don't have very good melee stats, and their shooting bounces off the silver shields of Khorne Warriors pretty badly. I should be able to do nicely for myself in that regard. And we'll just keep bringing reinforcements out of here. Valkyria's going to hang out behind the pillar here, and we're going to get some shots going here in the early game with the Skull Cannon. Classic Cannon just immediately misses its first volley. And what do we bring out first? I actually think I'm going to bring out another Skull Cannon, now that I'm thinking about it, because he's got a lot of ranged units here. We're going to back up, because he's going to come and get really aggressive on the Skull Cannon. I think we can dodge some of these. Nah, they, like, all hit. That's unfortunate. But we do have the infantry buffering for us pretty nicely. Valkyria can get in here and get after the Exalted Lord of Change. Man, this cultist is taking some pretty vicious damage right now. So we're going to try and just use our infantry to buffer out the missiles as much as possible. We've got our Skull Cannons here. Let's get them in the same group and push them forward a little. Valkyria can go in and do some damage. And the cultist is just going to take it on the chin. He still has a silver shield. Despite taking some damage here in the early going, it's not disastrous. And the Doom Knights are up here. Doom Knights are fine. They're not going to be very good against Valkyria, fortunately. Valkyria is just so capable as a combatant. She's not going to care too much about those guys trying to post up on her. And let's get on the point here. Let's get this Skull Cannon. It's going to shoot at these guys. We've got the Doom Knights coming after my Furies, which I really don't want. And I need to push up the whatchamacallit there. Oh, my Marauders. And we're going to get out maybe some Minotaurs. Actually, I think some Hounds of the Blood Hunter are going to be really good here. And we should actually get aggressive. Since my opponent's going to try and hold in this back line, kind of. Valkyria is chasing back the Doom Knights. We're getting some good shots with the Skull Cannons. Look at the damage these things are doing here to those pink horrors. Really good business here. Valkyria, she doesn't mind this too much. I'm going to just try and get her out of here. You know, she shouldn't get too stuck up. She should do perfectly fine here. We need to get the Chaos Warriors around the back, and we're just going to keep pounding in against against my opponent's units here. Zangors are going to lose the combat here against what I've got. And we can start getting side shots with the Skull Cannon. Skull Cannons are really good against infantry targets. Let's get out of here with the Hounds of the Blood Hunt. They don't really want to be in this combat here. They're very isolated out here on the edge. I think some Minotaurs will be really nice. And I think we're going to actually drive the Skull Cannons up into melee combat here, because they're going to start doing really well against the pings. Let's back out here, because there's some shenanigans coming out from my opponent. We're going to get some charges here. We're going to go in here. We're going to charge there. We're going to get the Marauders going forward. Tzeentch's Firestorm is a very dangerous spell, but we're dodging most of the damage there, which is awesome. The pink horrors are pretty well tied up in combat right now. They're taking a pounding from us. My Furies are dying here, but the nice thing is that they've pretty much killed one of his Furies, so it's a pretty even trade. And I'm just getting way up in the backfield here, and my front line is very much collapsing all over his right now. So we're going to get some charges in here. We're going to get the Skull Cannons out so they don't just get focus fired to death. We need to try and get the Flesh Hounds away. I don't want them to just get completely murdered by the Tzeentch Air Force here. As long as I'm running with them, they should avoid the worst of the damage. Valkia is going to get a Sloupnir here. No! I'm going to pop... it's worth popping Demon Shield here anyways. I need to make sure this gets lined up so she actually does damage here. Alright, we've completely flattened my opponent's front line, so we're just going to push on to his home objective here. Because he's running out of momentum, and I've just got, like, tons of options for mobility, so I can play this game a little bit better than he can. I'm going to bring my own horsemen out now. Since we're about to be on top of his, like, missile lines and everything, we're going to be able to start doing some really good work here. Just keep pushing through. One exalted, or not exalted, but just regular pink horrors has been completely folded up now, which is awesome. We're going to get in there and finish them off. We're going to keep pushing into his backfield. Well, actually, we might just, we might start holding here, and the Skull Cannons actually have a lot of ammo now, since I was using them very aggressively in melee combat. Need to make sure that they don't obstruct one another. We can probably hold up nicely here and just take a bit of a pounding. Valkia's getting kind of low. I need to get her away. She needs to escape. Luckily, she's nice and quick. We've got the horsemen who can throw at the Doom Knights if they chase my opponent. You know, he's got a bit of a hole to grind back from. We're pretty even here, but I'm controlling all of the objectives currently. I'm gonna bring out some Marauders here. I'm gonna get up on this point here. We're engaging a little bit in combat, and we just need to not get landed on right now. He's got a lot of these screamers and stuff around. These guys should be able to do a little bit of damage here. We're going to push up and just keep, like, charging in. Skull Cannons are doing... they're just kind of missing right now, unfortunately. We've got the Bloodletter Summon. This is a really good chance to pop this and get on top of those guys there. My poor horsemen back here getting flattened right now. Let's get the Minotaurs. They need to go after these guys. So much shit happening right now. Shutting those guys down. We'll keep pushing up. The Marauders are going to be able to push off really nicely there. Tzeentch's Firestorm incoming, so that's going to do a lot of damage. That's going to be pretty painful. And we do have quite a few of our units kind of running around right now in a very scattered fashion. Push away from here a little bit. Try and get a charge. The Minotaurs are doing nicely here. I'm going to pop Relentless Rage on them, actually, just so that they don't lose their frenzy. They should still do some good work. The Tzeentch Firestorm, fortunately for us, missed quite a few of its actual shots there. Not doing nearly as good as it could be. We're going to get some overlapping fire here with the Skull Cannons. This should be pretty nice. Come on, actually fire in here, though, guys. I really need y'all to. If they actually hit, those vortexes are going to do some disgusting damage to all these units. Alright, a lot of his infantry is dead. We're gonna start getting some more Furies out. Fury's gonna come up here and do some good damage. Skull Cannons do need to run. We need to line these guys up. And the, man, the Chosen are getting flattened by some, Centaurs right now, which is really nice for, LVO. Where are my Hounds of the Blood Hunt? Hounds of the Blood Hunt need to go out there. We can get after these guys. Come on. Keep running. Run, run, run. Don't need to be, locked in combat there. We're just grinding down these Zangors. We've got my opponent, like, way off the objective here. We're gonna pull back there. Let's get back. Let's turn around. More Furies. Furies with Valkia against all of this stuff should actually do pretty nicely. My expensive stuff out here just needs to fight these battles and just die as honorably as they can, basically. LVO is going to retake here. He's starting to grind back a decent little bit of value. Why are my Furies not, like, diving into combat here? Very confusing. This might be where he starts getting back into this match. He's doing a pretty nice job of it right now. We need to get away from the Tzeentch's Firestorm, which is on top of my guys. And we just got a big blob fight going on here. So we're just going to pop, like, all of the stuff here. And just try and, like, chew all of this shit apart. That's the goal right now. Valkia's kind of escaping, which is awesome. And I think we've actually won that. And all this time we've been holding on to this objective here. And he's pushing up some Marauder Horsemen against these Marauders. I don't know if he's going to be paying attention. We might be able to get the charge. It looks like we are. We're going to get some more Minotaurs out because we do really need those guys. And we completely crushed him here. The Skull Cannons kind of sucked him in, and then my Furies just did a great job of ripping apart his units. So he is kind of paying attention, so we'll just sit here, hold. The Cultist is still fighting over here, which is awesome. We got a little bit of damage out of those Minotaurs again. They didn't do too hot, 666 value on them, but we still got the Skull Cannons. See, the Skull Cannons are great, man, because they answer stuff like the Centaurs really well. Centaurs are going to get a little bit of a charge here, but we blocked up some of the damage. He's kind of collapsing in there with one of them. He's getting a nice rear charge on our Furies, which is great, but we've got some Marauders to help out. And the Vortexes coming in clutch here, man. Really good damage from those guys. We need to unsummon those really tattered units. And we've actually kind of won this fight because the Marauder Horsemen and the Furies kind of collapsed in nicely on them. And Tzeentch's Firestorm coming in yet again. Going to do some good damage to the infantry, but a lot of my stuff is disengaged. So it's not going to be nearly as devastating as it could be. And Valkia just needs to, like, come and support some of these infantry and stuff. We'll try and use these guys to, like, flatten the Zangors. We're going to get after these Zangors with the Marauder Horsemen, which should go pretty nicely for us. Let's just charge in here. Screw it. I mean, why not? And Hounds of the Blood Hunt, it is the second time they've come out. They haven't done amazingly, but at the end of the day, I'm not too shaken by their performance. They were kind of needed to get really aggressive, and we need to just make sure we stay away from the big guy. The Exalted Lord of Change here, I really don't want to stick in combat with, and we'll just keep hounding there. The Furies killed his Pink Horrors, and we're just all over him. Corn Mobility just absolutely nailing him right now. Not giving him any space to breathe. Hell yeah. Really well played, though. I don't think his build quite had the tools to deal with the Skull Cannons, specifically. Nah, whatever, I'll get back in, and I'll grab it. I just want the, I want the replays so that I can, start talking a little bit about the, I want to stop talking about, I want to talk about some of the Skull Cannons. They're so good right now. That Vortex that they were given has really improved their performance. Before they would be kind of bad against the Exalted Pinks, they'd still be good in melee combat, but they upped the efficiency of them on the charge and like in prolonged combat because they hit fewer units and they have better weapon strength, so they actually kill more stuff, as well as being really disruptive. And the Vortex, like I said, actually makes their shooting pretty efficient if they can actually like land shots in against stuff. Previously, you were just kind of relying on the actual missile to kill models. Now the Vortex does a little bit of extra damage. Just talking to Elvio a bit. Hell yeah. Alright, so we've got one win under our belt here. Cornzinch. I feel like people might start looking pretty hard into Skull Cannons. They are really powerful right now. They might be a little overtuned. I think the Vortex, they could cut the Vortex damage in half and it would still be really strong. 8 armor-piercing damage per second is pretty crazy, in my opinion. But, that was what Creative Assembly said they wanted to do with the patch. They wanted to make the, shake the meta up and make, less common units more often chosen. And, if there was ever a unit that pretty much nobody ever brought, it was the Skull Cannons. I was always a big fan of them. I brought them anyways in some of the matchups, like High Elves. And against High Elves, I already thought that the Skull Cannons were good enough to bring. Now they're just even more efficient at what they were already good at. Alright, so we got Falling Star. Let's go get Falling Star in here. And let me just make sure that nobody's got any issues. It looks like everybody is situated now, so we're not going to have as much downtime from this point on. Falling Star and I played in Turin's tournament yesterday, so this is a bit of a rematch here. And I think we're on Pit of the Ever-Chosen of all freaking maps. I was actually game planning against Skaven on this map at one point, just because I think this is one of the coolest maps out there in the tourney scene right now. I really love it. It's absolute madness on it. So, some of the factions that I really think do well on it, I mean, obviously Khorne would do well, but I think Skaven, Tomb Kings, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe Vampire Coast might not be very good on this map, just because they don't have great mobility to take advantage of it. But Tzeentch and Slaanesh, obviously. Slaanesh is probably an absolute nightmare to face off here. Wood Elves. I think it opens up, with the deployment zones being all the way around the battlefield, like completely encircling it. I think the strategies that you can employ here are pretty interesting. I think Falling Star, are they playing Skaven? Actually, a Bretonnia player in this economy? Is it possible? Whoa, okay, we do actually have someone repping Bretonnia today. That's cool. You don't see Bretonnia picked very often now, which is a bit of a shame. They did get some nerfs to the Grail Knights and stuff, which I'm not like a tremendous fan of. I don't think those were... I don't know how necessary that nerf was, quite honestly. Bumpy, I would say it's worth going back and watching the last match just to see how strong Skull Cannons are now. I mean, the battle was absolute chaos. There was not a down moment within it. Like, once the main line engaged, it was just balls to the wall from there. So, you should go check it out just for that. We played some, like, proper Blood God, like, gameplay. I need to, just in case, I don't think anybody is gonna stream snipe me, but, you know. It was against Elvio. Bompy. Elvio's a really good player. I was playing Tzeentch, so Tzeentch versus Khorne. You can see, like, the classic, chaos showdown, so to speak. Man, Bretonnia. What do I bring against Bretonnia? I've got a basic outline of what I want here. I think that'll actually be pretty nice. And... those will be good in the late game. Another one of these. Some of these, and... what do I bring for mobility? Yeah, like I said, Bompy, it was against Elvio, who was playing Tzeentch. What even is their weakness? I mean, Bompy, if you want to see what Tzeentch's weakness is, go back and watch that battle, and you'll see. Tzeentch is really good against a lot of factions just because of the high-quality shooting, but Khorne has some pretty good tools at countering that. So, if you really want to, like, beat Tzeentch, just play Khorne. And go check out what I brought, and you'll kind of see the general strategy you can employ against them. You really just want to keep pressure up on them. Especially if Tzeentch is going with, like, a shooting line, you just need to stay on top of the pink horrors. Because pink horrors are terrible in melee combat. If you have some, like, armored infantry, or just stuff with silver shields in general, you can push on top of them. You can get some pretty good value there. At the end of the day, though, Tzeentch is odd, because Tzeentch can go really hard into blob builds as well. They're not just, like, a pure shooting faction. You know, like, Vampire Coast is, like, a pure ranged, like, focused playstyle. But Tzeentch can do that, but they can also lean into bringing, like, Village and A-Cold, and bringing, like, just death blobs that they bunch up on an objective and they just never move from. That can be pretty difficult to peel. I think that might actually be the best build for Tzeentch against Khorne. They've got good Marauder Horsemen, too. You can get away with just bringing Marauder Horseman as Zinch for your range, and it can do pretty well for you. Damn, I think this is really all I need here, so I think I might actually be ready for this match. Okay. So, got a little bit of everything here, I think. This should be enough to answer anything that Bretonnia is going to be bringing out. Maybe this is a little inefficient in the opening, so maybe I'll do something like this instead. Alright. I'm actually switching my build up a little bit at the last second here, because I want to try something. I want to try something out actually. Now we got kind of maxed out on those. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, Bompy, I'm not 100% sure. I think it was because, in Conquest and land battles, the Grail Knights and Grail Guardians, because those matches tend to be a little bit quicker, those units, benefit a lot more from the magic and heals that Bretonnia has access to. So I think their health pools were, like, high enough to where it was really difficult to kill models and actually get value against those units, and they were just kind of steamrolling folks in Conquest. So I think that's why they got nerfed, which, you know, they were fine. Like, Bretonnia is very balanced in Dom mode already. It's probably just going to make them worse across the board. I think they really should go in and just buff up the Bretonnian peasants a little bit. Like, just giving the Bretonnian peasants like 2 or 3 extra melee attack and melee defense, I think would be a good little change for them. Losing the health on their super expensive stuff is pretty painful, and they didn't really get any help. So Bretonnia is not going to be as good in Dom, and they were already pretty mediocre, but they're still going to have good matchups. Bretonnia is just like a specialist faction, kind of like Khorne is. Khorne is really good against what it's good at, and then there are also factions that Khorne is just kind of dog shit at dealing with. Which is, you know, it is what it is. Ironically enough, I think that Khorne's worst matchups are against, some of the other demon factions. I think Slaanesh, Vampire Coast, and Vampire Counts might be some of the hardest matchups for Khorne. Vampire Counts come with a caveat of the other player needing to be like a really high level player to get the most out of them, so it is what it is. Is there a new God tier faction after patch? We're still figuring it out. I don't anticipate that Kislev isn't going to be still wildly overpowered, because they got, like, next to no nerfs. They actually got some buffs on units that were bad. So I'm afraid that Kislev's going to just keep getting banned every season until CA does something to address them. Like, all of their hybrid shooting is still wildly over-efficient. And then Zarina Katarin's sled. I played a match against somebody who was using that damn ice sled that Zarina Katarin has, and just got absolutely flattened, dude. It was brutal. I mean, I literally could not stop it. Like, I'd get Minotaurs on top of the sled, and it would just push right past them. It just ran over all my infantry, and I just lost because I had no answers to it. So I think that unit might get banned, and, I don't know. Probably Kislev, but that's not very new. I don't think any of the other factions in the game got any significant buffs that sent them into the stratosphere outside of maybe Demons of Chaos, since the Skull Cannons are so good now. I think that maybe Demons of Chaos might be really unstoppable because of that. Because that really does kind of cover up a weakness that Demons of Chaos have had in the past, which is not having anything that's, like, heavily armored that they can, like, lean on to be really effective disruption around the battlefield against ranged factions. But Skull Cannons can shoot and counterfire really well, and they can also get into melee, and they can heal and survive for a really long time and just be obnoxious that way. That's the only faction that I can see getting a significant, like, power spike in terms of combat efficiency. Yeah, if you were watching yesterday in Turin's tournament, it was my game against Halidin. I mean, I thought my build was pretty good, and I think if I had played... Yeah, Skull Cannons heal. They've got Gore Feast. So, in melee combat, they have a passive heal, as long as they're in melee combat, which is really strong for them, because it also is triggered while they're chasing down routing units. So if you have broken an enemy unit, and they're, like, running to the side or edge of the battlefield, you can just, like, chase them. Oh, my bad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so Skull Cannons have Gore Feast. If you're chasing a routing unit, they still heal, they still regen ammo, and you can get some pretty crazy shit done that way. It's very silly, but it's pretty awesome. I'm just glad to see some nice buffs for Khorne. Blood Thrones really needed it. Blood Thrones were terrible in the last patch. They were absolutely irredeemable in terms of being just a dog shit unit. I haven't really played around with the Blood Throne, just because I mean, I'm a huge Skull Cannon enjoyer anyways. Now that they're buffed, I'm having even more fun with them. But, for my, like, very basic testing, Blood Thrones are a lot better at killing stuff, which they were pretty bad at. Blood Thrones can get themselves into bad situations in some matchups because, the way their animations are when they charge in, they just, like, fly through units. And they can end up in your opponent's backline and then get caught and just beaten to death. So that's still a bit of a worry for them. But I think overall they're just going to be a little bit more effective. Alright, I need to stop rambling here and actually play the damn game. Yeah, Lewin and some Hippogriff Knights. So, Falkia is going to struggle a little bit here. There's also a bunch of Foot Squires. Hell yeah. But we do have some answers to those guys. Excuse me. I've got the Soul Grinder here. Soul Grinder is going to be really good at killing the Foot Squires. I thought about bringing a Skull Cannon, but I want to just play around with this guy a little bit. Come on, actually shoot at the right stuff here, please. Let's get over here. Let's bring, yeah, we're getting a nice little dodge going. Keep running, keep running. Falling Star is being very aggressive here, trying to get after the Soul Grinder, which I totally understand. But I might get some damage in here. Valky is very good against Hippogriff Knights. So I just need to keep the Soul Grinder safe. Let's get up on the point here. Let's maneuver over. And start bringing some stuff out here. I'm going to actually get some more Minotaurs on the field, just so I can countercharge. There's a Life Damsel in the back there. Don't really want to go in on these guys. Okay, landing there. We're going to run away with the Soul Grinder. The Soul Grinder needs to just stay away from the Hippogriff Knights. If I can do that, then I might be able to do pretty good work here. Valky needs to pop Demon Shield. We need to push around Lewin here and like completely surround him. The Minotaurs should be able to block him up decently, and they're actually getting some good attacks in on him right now. Soul Grinder and the Minotaurs need to hook up, and we're going to bring out Throwing Axes now. Throwing Axes can get in here, and they'll do good damage to the pole arms. Yeah, there we go. Landing, we'll countercharge, we'll get in there, and we might kill, we might be able to kill Lewin. We might be able to just, like, chase him down here, because we did so much freaking damage to him. We have the objective right now. I don't really need to do anything right now, just need to check those guys. They're doing fine out there. We're chasing the Hippogriffs, getting a little bit of damage in there. Alright, and he popped Sword of Corone, so Valkia needs to run away now. That is not a fight worth taking while she's so debuffed. She's just gonna get the absolute hell kicked out of her. We need to stay on top of chasing these Hippogriff Knights down. As long as we're running away, we should be alright. Now we've got the Minos. They can do some damage to the Men-at-Arms here. The Damsel's running for life. Oh, and these Minotaurs are way out of position. I forgot about them. Oh, that's a really good catch from Falling Star there. Let's pull back a little bit. We're going to get some Chaos Knights out in a second here. We should be able to do some nice work. We lost a Minotaur because I wasn't paying close enough attention to them, which sucks, but we should be able to rally here. We're going to get a really nice slout near here. Should be able to hit all those units. Pull back. Yeah! You can see how much damage it does to infantry. Minotaur and the Soul Grinder, they're going to pull back now. I don't want to get super nailed right here by all those guys. I do need to preserve as much health on this Soul Grinder as possible. And I think some, yeah, Knights of the Lionhearted are coming out, which is a pretty good unit. And yeah, we just completely rolled over these Men-at-Arm polearms. Push through here. We've got our infantry doing well enough in the front line. We've got some Marauders that over-pursued, and they're probably going to die now, which is unfortunate. These Minotaurs are shattered, it looks like, which is rough. Lewin is almost healing capped here. Where's the Soul Grinder? The Soul Grinder is in here getting the shit kicked out of it. Lewin has always been pretty good against Soul Grinders and stuff like that. We've got the Chaos Knights. They're going to go in and do some good damage here. Let's get after the Grail Relique. Stay in and fight against these guys here. We're going to pop our buff and get something going. Valkia, I'm going to pop Demon Shield and get her away. That's not a great position for her to be in. Come on, girl. Get out of there. Thank God you can't get trapped up as easily in combat in the air as you can in other circumstances. Oh, and Questing Knights are out on the field, so we need to run away from these guys with our Chaos Knights, because we will lose that combat. We're going to pull the Minotaurs back and get after those guys. Valkia is going to go help against them as well. And the Soul Grinder is going to be able to take this charge. We're going to push up the Halberds here. Anything going on back here? No. That is a very expensive piece to be leaving back there, too. So, I think I'm going to leave them there, though. Chaos Knights getting run over a little bit, but they're pushing through the Halberds now. And the halberds are going to do really well at getting damage done against those guys. We're just throwing axes at all these guys here. Knights of the Realm, they're doing pretty good. A lot of our Marauders are dead, but our Chaos Warriors are very healthy here. We've got halberds on the field now, too. We're going to start choking off Bretonnia's ability to maneuver. Just very slowly here, that's the goal. How are the Chaos Knights doing? They're not doing very well on Valia, I don't think. And Valkia is, like, completely surrounded here. I really need to not lose her here. If I lose her here, I might be in a seriously unfortunate circumstance. Get some damage against these polearms and stuff here. Doing some good work. Valkia is getting the shit kicked out of her right now. Come on, girl. Run, run, run.
Seeking the fight. Corn shows the way.
Yeah, she's getting routed out, which is not good. We just need to keep stuff piling in here and doing damage. We've got some Minotaurs rallying. We've got more halberds moving up. They're going to start doing really nicely. We're killing a lot of his infantry. Man, those dual weapons are doing really well. And I'm popping Relentless Rage on Valkia to maybe save her. I don't know. Maybe my opponent slips up and doesn't chase her down all the way. Dang, dude. Questing Knights are all over my cavalry right now. Really don't have any way of dealing with all that. I might be in trouble here. Bretonnia out-healing me right now, and Valkia going down is pretty catastrophic for me. So I might really start ending up in the pits here. God, look at these Royal Hippogriff Knights have gotten some really good value. They're charging down my Minotaurs. Minotaurs probably going to be cooked here. We almost had Lewin, but the Damsel came out. My opponent's been doing really well at getting heals off. And we're probably going to just have to... we're going to have to rely on the halberds here. Halberds and the Chaos Warriors are going to have to really start to carry me here. I'm probably going to save up to bring Valkia back out as well. Countercharge here and just keep running away with this guy. Keep going, dude. I don't know why my big monster just keeps stopping and refusing to, like, run. It's very annoying. This isn't a terrible fight for me. The halberds are doing a lot of damage to these knights that are stuck in here, but losing the Soul Grinder now, too. Chaos Knights are very beat up. We're actually going to send these Marauders out to the back point. My opponent's trying to backcap me here. So we're going to take these fights. Man, Falling Star is all over my ass, but we do have the objective here. We've got units that are very capable of fighting in here. I don't know if I've got enough. Still got time before Valkia's back on the field, and I had to respond with something back here. We're going to pop abilities and just hunker down, man. We're going to hunker down on the objectives. We have killed the Damsel. The Damsel kind of messed up here, which is awesome. Lewin's very low. The Peg Knights, they're back here too. As long as my infantry here don't just terror route, we might be okay. But it looks like these guys are about to break, and that's gonna be that might end up being game blouses for me. Come on, just keep doing it, guys. Just keep going. Just keep fighting. Don't break. The Blood God demands obedience here. Alright, we need to get away from the polearms so we can chase there and kill those guys. Those guys are getting wrecked. That's painful. Yeah, see, Marauder Horsemen are nice in this matchup, but the issue they run into, oftentimes, is exactly this kind of circumstance for Pegasus Knights. And a lot of the Bretonnian mobility ends up being incredibly punishing. And Valkia, come on, get her back out on the field. Yeah, Valkia's back. Valkia's going to go after Lewin. That's going to bolster our leadership just a little bit. And maybe we hold in here just long enough to get this win on this point. My opponent is also pretty gassed here, so it's not so simple for him. Get out there. We summoned on the wrong side of the field, unfortunately. That's very painful, losing the Chaos Warriors here. They were so healthy, and now they're broken. Having to resummon Valkia there, also not great. They're routing. Dang it, I was going to pop Relentless Rage on them. I think we might actually be okay still. I've got to summon a bunch of shit out now. Like, I really do need stuff to move up onto the field. But my opponent's bringing out mostly men-at-arms right now, which isn't really too bad for me. Hippo Knights. Man, those Hippo Knights with the 2,900 value. 2,200 on old Lewin there. And I'm going to lose that objective. We've got a few tattered halberds here. We've got healthy Chaos Warriors on this point here. We'll use these guys to maneuver around the battlefield. We'll see what we can do. I'm going to bring out Minos, maybe. Maybe I just need width, though. It is triple cap territory, so I think we're actually going to just hunker down on the objectives here. We're going to get up on here. My opponent doesn't really have anything over here, actually, so the halberds might be able to get something done there. I don't know if I can save those guys, but we're going to use Valkia aggressively here. We've got Questing Knights, so yeah, Minos very important. Get after them. I'm going to pop Relentless Rage there, just to keep them in the combat as long as possible. We're going to use the Flesh Hounds to go after these guys. The Minos are going to have to punish stuff here. Just run away. We're pushed up on here. We're actually out-capping Bretonnia there. And we might be able to kill King Lewin here. Lewin is not going to like the fight here. So I thought that the Questing Knights were going to land. So Falling Star kind of making a fool out of me, not landing, and getting in a real nice position here. Minotaur's fighting the pole arms, which is okay. Just hounding down my units there. Let's get back over here. The halberds might actually be enough to hold over here, which is going to be so funny. We're going to send the Marauders over there, too. We need to just chase that guy down. I think we're okay. I think we're barely going to edge this out. The Soul Grinder wasn't it this game, unfortunately. King Lewin's just too good at being able to chase that down. And obviously, Hippogriff Knights, still really powerful. And these Questing Knights, dude, they're all over my ass. They got some buffs this patch. This is really good Bretonnia play. Like, excellently done here. I'm gonna keep the Minotaurs going after the Questing Knights. And we're actually holding the back objective here. That is insane. Bretonnia just not able to finish its food right here. Hounds of the Blood Hunt with these Flesh Hounds are gonna go in there. We're fighting the big boy there, but we should be able to do alright. He is so close to dying. If I can kill Lewin here, that is going to be it for Bretonnia. Bretonnia just not able to outlast the higher quality infantry, and these tattered halberds, dude. Look at the value on these damn halberds. 2,000 value on one of them at least. I don't know how we won that. That was insane, man. Great game. Holy shit. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that, because I definitely made some mistakes there. I could have played a lot cleaner. You can see we got a lot of value on a lot of our units, but Valkia was kind of the weak link, unfortunately. There, she just got bullied by Lewin. Lewin is really good at answering her. I should have just kept running around with her and not really given Bretonnia an opportunity to get into combat against her. That was not great on my part, but we persevered through it. We somehow managed to pull that game. Just complimenting Falling Star in the micro. Oh man, Elvio went up against Beastman as Zinch on that map. Yeah, I imagine that Beastmen are probably basically unstoppable on Pit. I kind of chose that map for the memes. It's not the most serious map, but I love mixing it in to tournaments every now and then. Okay, we've had a couple of people drop, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Not everyone can stay all the way through. Yeah, man. Halberds are really good, and they've been low-key good for a little while now. They're really good even against other infantry of their of a similar caliber, because they have frenzy and they have 30 melee attack at base. So they actually have 40 melee attack. Yeah, you can see. I mean, they've just got good generalist stats if you really look at it, because they get extra 10 from frenzy. As long as that's up, they can beat other similarly costed armored infantry. I think they beat foot squires and other stuff like that, which is pretty nuts. These halberds, as long as they're not getting shot down by AP missiles, will do work for Khorne every single time. I mean, I've especially against Bretonnia, because Bretonnia doesn't have great missiles to answer these guys, like trebuchets. Pretty much the only thing they can use against them safely. You just send them to point, sit in the middle, and just grind value out. And you don't even need a tremendous number of these guys to get good damage, because their bonus versus large is 19. So if they're hitting large targets, that gets their weapon strength up to 53. They are at 59 melee attack, as long as Frenzy up. If Frenzy isn't up, then they've got 49 melee attack. That's just silly against large targets, so they're really nice. Yeah, I think the Chaos Knights were actually also pretty bad. They got heavily out-traded by the Questing Knights. Questing Knights are 1,100 gold, I think, also. They're very, very aggressively costed. Yeah, 1,100, and they've got actual, armor-piercing damage, so they, straight up beat Chaos Knights. So I might just leave the, the Chaos Knights off the table next time around. Yeah, Bloodthrone has a Totem of Endless Bloodletting, which gives melee attack and leadership. But, like I said, the problem with this thing is it just is impossible to control in melee. Its attack patterns are so spastic. It just throws itself around, and it oftentimes ends up away from where you want it to be. And it doesn't have to be in combat, so I guess you can, stick it behind the combat and get better use out of it, but I don't know. I still need to test it. And see how much better it is. Honestly, I think you're better off if you're gonna bring a Bloodthrone. Just bring the Herald on it, because the Herald also gets Revel and Slaughter, which also gives leadership. So you're getting stacks. You get 16 melee attack passively from this guy, because you get Totem and Revel stacking on top of one another, and then you get 12 leadership in addition with the buffs, and then he's actually got good leadership on the throne. The problem with the Blood Thrones or the Blood Shrine and Skull Cannons is they have 60 leadership. So if they start taking serious damage, they can start to crumble out, and Demonic Instability is so punishing. Once these guys start crumbling, they're not going to recover. They're just going to die. That can be very painful. So you have to have really good micro to make good use out of these, which is why I'm still worried that the Blood Throne isn't going to be good. But to answer your question, if the melee attack aura stacking is viable, I think so. I think if you bring the Herald, it is. You know, he's got a little bit of extra health as well. So I would just say bring this guy if you want to do that. It might be good against vampire counts now. I've tried experimenting with it in the past, and it wasn't quite enough to make it happen. But after the buffs to it, maybe there's some juice there. I've still got to check it though, and I need to go find my opponent because I've been talking for a minute now. Anybody? Tried the chariot buffs. I haven't. I haven't tried the Gore Beast buffs yet. I still don't think they're gonna be good. They got like I don't even know. I think they had 58 or 54 weapon strength before. And I don't think getting up to 70 is enough still. There is one matchup where Gorbeast chariots are good, and I think it's against dwarves. But I still think that Skull Cannon is going to be better there, because now the Skull Cannons can actually punish Dowie blobs, which is pretty prevalent from them. Skull Cannons absolutely wreck that, and then they're an SE chariot with better mass, so they can push around a little bit better. Maybe now that these guys, maybe with the mass that they've got, they can push through stuff. But they're niche against Dowie. I think Skull Cannon's still a better option because it's cheaper, and I'm not seeing any situation where I would bring them, honestly. But maybe I'll try them out. MP. What is this? What is the password? Just copy it. Boop. Oh man, we're doing some Tomb Kings here. Tomb Kings are pretty good against Khorne. This is a pretty tough matchup, honestly. You do have good tools against them, though. I'm waiting for the DLC. I think Khorne's gonna have a little bit more stuff that you can do against Tomb Kings in the future. Right now, you've got like a handful of like viable ways to go up against Tomb Kings right now. You really can't do Monster Mash against them because their shooting is so good. They just absolutely obliterate your missiles. It's very painful. Like, I would love to bring the Blood Brute Behemoth. If only I could. But it's just not good. You just don't get enough juice out of it. Okay, some of this. One of these guys mixed in. Now, you do have really good tools. Don't get me wrong. Like, Tomb Kings can struggle against Khorne for sure, but you just have to play very precisely against these guys. And, you know, you just can't afford to make mistakes in this matchup. That's really what it comes down to. I think that of the unfavorable matchups for Khorne, Tomb Kings is at least very doable. It just it gets really hairy at times, and controlling Cetra on the Sphinx is a lot easier said than done. He is so powerful. He's so good against your infantry too. Cetra just absolutely ruins elite infantry, which is not great for Khorne, because Khorne shines most in the matchups where the infantry can really do their thing. I'll mix one in. I don't think that makes a difference. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Never not put chevrons on stuff in your main army. If you've got like 50 gold left over for your reinforcements, it's not worth it, but in the opportunities where you've got the chance to give a chevron to something in your opener, just go ahead and take it. It's worth it. You'd be surprised how far like one extra point of leadership and melee attack and melee defense can take you.
Valkia the Bloody!
Alright. So this map is also probably going to be pretty tough. Oh man, this is a tiny-ass army for my opponent. So this is probably going to be just a Cetra on the Sphinx and maybe another Cimmerian War Sphinx type deal, which I'm going to struggle to do damage to. But the benefit of that is that his army is probably going to be pretty small. I'm going to be able to control objectives pretty well, probably. And I'll be able to use mobility nicely to get around the battlefield and maybe get after the Ushabti and stuff that my opponent tries to summon out. That's probably just going to be what I'm trying to get the most effect out of. And we'll leave the we're going to leave the Furies over there for now.
Valkia the Bloody!
Yeah, these Minotaurs are going to have to do some serious work to try and lock down Cetra, and the first thing we're summoning out is more than likely going to be Minotaurs.
Valkia the Bloody!
Alright. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. Always wish your opponents good luck. And especially to have fun, that's the whole point of playing the game. Yeah, we've got the Sphinx of Uskef and Cetra the Imperishable here. Chosen of the Gods way out on the flank there. We're gonna... The Minotaurs are gonna have to protect our infantry here. We're actually gonna send these guys over here to their doom, basically. We'll see if Safari Jack's paying attention. We might be able to get some picks in the early game. And Valkia's gonna go start harrying the Chosen of the Gods. You know, she can be pretty annoying to deal with for sure.
For the kill.
We just want to get attention here.
With haste.
Threaten a dive. Yeah. Come on, Minos. Good micro back. He's paying attention there. And we can get some damage here. Valkia is going to do some good work. She's definitely going to chip nicely against the Chosen of the Gods. She's just stopping them from getting free damage on my formation there. We'll get back up in the air. We'll send the Furies out to maybe go chase after the Ushabti. And Minos are in a perfect position maybe to get after Cetra. Playing really tight here is not bad for me at all. We can just go dive after those guys. We've got Minos coming up. Minos are going to have to take this fight against the Sphinx. We do have the Cultists here who are going to do nicely. We're just going to get a disgusting Sleipnir here. Yes, buddy. There we go. Valkia is just going to kill the Chosen of the Gods, and we're just going to keep grinding in here against these big monsters. Our Our infantry should do okay. We do have the halberds here. Let's push the halberds in. Halberds need to, like, actually push into the middle of combats to get good damage. And you can see how much work we're doing against the Sphinx right now. Alright, Chosen of the Gods and a bunch of horsemen are coming out now. But Valkia is going to keep chasing Chosen. She does not mind. Cetra's pushing into the backfield. Man, do we go about it? I think actually just another Minotaur. Just full Minotaurs right now. That's what I'm committing to. We're doing great damage to the Sphinx right now. Our infantry, some of our infantry are suffering, but the halberds are holding really nicely, and Cetra's just not getting anything for free here. We're gonna pop our Bloodletter Summons as well. They'll help clear out these, they're gonna help clear out some of the targets in here, like the Nehekara Warriors. Because we are kind of routing across the field here right now. A lot of my stuff's getting terror routed, but these Bloodletter Summons are pretty nice for me. They're gonna start getting some good value here. The healthier Minotaur, I think I'm gonna send after Chosen of the Gods here. And Valkia, I'm gonna try and get her out of this skeleton horseman blob. If she can get back up in the air, she's gonna be able to do some good work there. We just need to not let those guys do anything to me. Chosen of the Gods are very annoying. I don't want them shooting at all. That is the absolute worst thing that can happen. Necrotect is giving some heals there. That's fine. Like, my opponent can do that if he wants to. And I think it's time to start getting some throwing axes out. We're going to use double Minotaur to get after Big Boy here. We're going to push out with this summon. The summon is about to dissipate, so probably not the best value out of it. We've got some infantry left on the field here. And we've got the Ushabti summon coming in. We're gonna run away here. We'll leave these Marauders to die, and we're gonna try and get our cultists away from there too. Valkia, I guess Valkia just is gonna have to fight there. We're gonna do a timing Sloughtner here. Still gonna do really good. That is the Kefir Guard also. Just like any free damage against those guys is pretty nice. We're gonna get after Sphinx. We're just gonna pop our buff here. And it's going to be absolutely fat. And I don't know why the horsemen didn't advance forward. This objective's not capped, so we'll do that. We'll push up. Halberds can hold here. We're killing the Sphinx of Uskef. And we are killing Cetra, thankfully. Oh my god, man. No buffering here for the big boys is not great. The Chosen of the Gods, they're kind of wrecking my poor halberds, but we got a fresh one on the way. We'll get some Furies out. Furies can go shut down Chosen of the Gods. Oh, we killed Cetra. Cetra's dead now, actually. That's awesome. So we'll use these two Minotaurs to just go clear some of this stuff off, maybe free up Valkia. Valkia's been stuck back here for so freaking long now. Very annoying. But Minotaurs are really good at killing horsemen like this. They should be able to free her up. We just need some stuff to answer that. We'll pull back a little bit here. I haven't captured it. They're not going to capture it before the horsemen get here, though. And it's not a bad fight to take, per se, but it's just not nearly as efficient as you want it to be. Yeah, sure. Yeehaw. How'd the halberds do? They did nicely. Minotaurs, they did exceptionally well this game. The, I don't know, just not enough cover for the infantry, or for the big targets, I should say. And Chosen of the Gods, they're really good, but I don't know. I think this army just wasn't wide enough, and if you're gonna bring these guys, you should just keep something back there to fight Valkia off. I mean, my opponent did a really good job of locking her in place with the horsemen, but they were shut down for long enough that they weren't able to get enough, like, decisive damage in the early going before the Minotaurs were able to do just a nasty amount of work to his big targets. Yeah, the laser snakes are really good here. They fight off flesh hounds really nicely. They don't do great against furies, but they have really good armor, so they can persevere through that. And their laser eyes are so devastating, dude. Like, here, we'll go in. We'll talk about these sepulchral stalkers. So the ROR, the Eyes of the Desert, got more expensive, but the regular variant, they're the same cost. They didn't really change any either. You can see here what their damage is. They fire every 10 seconds, which is pretty quick shooting for a ranged unit. They're very short range, which can get risky, but because of their halberds, they fight against Minotaurs okay. They do lose to Minotaurs in a one-on-one, but if you buffer these guys with just like shit tons of skeleton spears, excuse me, they'll do really nicely. Cetra can also help defend them pretty nicely, just with like Nero's. Nero's is actually pretty good against Khorne because you rely on the Minotaur great weapons so much, and this is 40% ward save. I mean, this is fat. This is just a fat spell. So good. And you can get 36 seconds of, you know, not invincibility, but like really good damage mitigation from the Minotaurs attacking them. So they can really persevere with some good targeted spell casting. Usirians got one more gold popped on its cost, but it's still one of the best spells in the game. Does pretty good damage to Minotaurs itself. I know it says strong versus 25 men unit or above. It's a little misleading. It's still decent at targeting down monstrous infantry. And any extra damage on top of the Minos is free value. It is better used on Marauder Horsemen and heavily armored infantry. But Cetra's already good at killing those guys. So sometimes it can be worth popping this on Minos just for the... even though it's a little bit inefficient. And you want to just get Cetra as cheap as possible. You know, he gets really expensive. You need the passive. That's about it. That's really all you need. You don't really need Unyielding Will. I mean, Cetra's always on the move, so you're not going to get much use out of it. And yeah. That's the tale of the tape versus Tomb Kings in my experience. And then you have the Sepulchral Stalkers also to protect the Chosen of the Gods. Chosen of the Gods you use to kill elite infantry and the heavily armored stuff that your spearmen can't deal with. You can also shoot at the Minotaurs. You do decent damage to the Minos with the burst shots from the Chosen of the Gods. But really you just want to get so many things out that just like block up space for Khorne. Khorne really likes to be able to maneuver around the battlefield, and if you can like lock off areas with really good overlapping missile play, that's where Khorne really starts to struggle. That's why Vampire Coast is such an unfavorable matchup for Khorne, is because there are just so many goddamn missiles that you have to kill that it's really hard to time up your dive correctly, and if you don't do it perfectly, you will very much lose. You will get all of your stuff just blasted to pieces that way. Alright. So we've got Rusto in here, and yeah, I guess I should report the score. If, Safari Jack hasn't. Okay, he did. Cool. Oh man, Beastman. Beastman versus Khorne is wild. Now I do have good answers to a lot of the mobility that Beastmen have, but Centaurs are still really dangerous, man. They always have been. They probably always will be. They're just such an efficient mobility unit. But we'll be alright. We'll be alright. We're gonna make this work. Yeah, I think this works. Yeah, Rusto is a really good player. Rusto's from Finland, I think. If I am not mistaken. It's so cool. I love the Warhammer community. The fact that it is just, like, so global. One of the coolest things about it, in my opinion. I think lots of this kind of stuff is going to be really nice against the Beastmen. Alright, we're on Changer's Madhouse. It's a pretty good map for both sides. Is this what I want to bring? I just need a sec. I always gotta check in with myself to make sure that I'm bringing a build that I feel confident in. I'm pretty confident in it, but I think I'm gonna change one thing up before we kick it off. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Alright, I'm ready. Oh, somebody, hold on. Someone ping. Oh, that's Rusto pinging me. Okay. Cool. Tournament's gone really smoothly so far, and we're getting along in good time here. We've got Grombrindle, Rusto, Soli lost? Wow. Soli is really good, so... Oh, just a little behind. I see. Alright. We're kicking it off here. Changer's Madhouse. Beastmen versus Khorne, dude. Beastmen were a terror last season. They didn't really get a ton of changes. No real nerfs to speak of outside of the minor Centaur cost increases. Oh, I mean, I guess the Centaurs of Tzeentch got 100 gold added on, which is pretty crazy, honestly. But other than that, that's really the most meaningful change to them. Pestigors are a little less efficient.
Valkia the Bloody!
But, I don't know. They were, like, good against Khorne, but Khorne's infantry hits hard enough that they were able to deal with Pestigors decently. Really, Pestigors were much more dangerous on the Nurgle roster because of the... just the inability to escape out of those Nurgle blobs once the Pestigor's Tears ability went off, and Nurgle just would suck you in and just heal endlessly with Fleshy Abundance. It was really, really pretty punishing. That's a little less terrible now. I don't know if vanguarding these guys is a good idea. I think I'm going to put them on the number 3. Because the risk is you vanguard on the number 2, like right here, and then your opponent's vanguarded on the other side of the hill here, with like a ton of Centigors and stuff, and like just like rush you down, and just run over your really expensive flesh hounds, which would really suck. And I'm pretty far back here. I don't have anything that's going to get up there in time to like save them. So if they do get caught somehow, they would just be dead, and that'd be 1,000 gold gone. I'm going to play it a little more conservatively, I think. Alright, we are actually on the battle here. Yep. See, there you go. All the Centigors are just like right up in my face here. It's just a full Centigor build, too, with the Gorgon and Malagor backing it up. We're not gonna fall for that. He's gonna retreat there. Yeah, the Centigor spam has been really good against Khorne in the past, so I'm not super surprised to see it here. We should be decently okay, though. He's coming in really hard now. Let's run. Let's run. Just keep running. He's trying to get after these guys. He's going to do a decent amount of damage here, but we can turn and fight a little bit now. We've actually got a decent number of his units, like, trapped up. We need my guys to just keep advancing and getting up onto the middle point where we can do some buffering and, like, defend a little bit. Let's get the Skull Cannon shooting at Grog Hooves here. We need to pull back. We need to play very patiently. And Valkia needs to not get wrecked by the throwing axes here. I don't know why they're not shooting. I gave you an order here. Hello. Yeah, they're getting more aggressive. They're just continuing to, like, dive in here. We're gonna get a ton of hounds out here and maybe try and do something. Look at the damage these Centigors do, man. This is so brutal. It's just like, there's not much you can do to stop this either, because they're just so relentless. You have to trap them. And that's so much easier said than done, because of how good they are on the charge. If you don't get a decisive, like, engagement against Centigors, they will completely flatten you.
The Gore Queen!
Alright, he's trying to kill my cultist here. The cultist is gonna run away. I need to, like, actually capture the objectives here. There's nothing I can do to stop that. Malagor's going here to get after the Skull Cannon. He's shutting it down. We're doing a lot of damage over here to his Centigor core. So, we're answering the mobility pretty okay right now. We need to chase off those guys. We've killed a lot of the ones that are over here right now. I'm not going to over-pursue there. We're going to go in, we're going to fight the Gorgon, and we're going to use the Skull Cannon here to go put some pressure on these Centigors. A little bit more mobility. He's got a Wargore on the Chariot. Chariots are really strong, too. They can do some pretty good work. We chased off there. We're going to get a collapse there. We're losing the Hounds of the Blood Hunt, but we're kind of capping this objective here. We've got the Halberds back here. They're going to do okay. We need to shoot the Grog Hooves. We need to get after this guy here. We're going to pop the ability, and we're going to just start using this. Like, why not? We need to. Minotaurs, they're going to go after the Gorgon. We're going to try and trap that guy up. Skull Cannon got a little bit of damage in here. That's nice. We're going to go deep for these guys now. We're going to get the throwing axe up. And then then I think we bring up another Mino. Get after them. We just need to keep being aggressive. If he wants to throw axes at our infantry, he can. I don't mind him doing that. He's countercharging here. We're trying to, at least. We've got the cultists doing some good work. We're killing the Centaurs of Tzeentch out here. They are broken and routing. We'll leave a hound on top of those guys to chase them off the field. And everything, all of the other units are going to go after the other Centaur of Tzeentch out there. And we'll get a Fury to go help too. And that should be a good fight. We're going to abandon this point now. There's no point being there. Cultist is very lonely. He is not loving life right now. We're going to get after the Warcore again. I forgot about my throwing axes. And yeah, the cultist is probably going to die here, which sucks, but whatever. You can't save everything. I should have been a little bit cleaner with them. We'll get after those guys. I really need to get more Minos up, though. I mean, my opponent has just got a ridiculous amount of mobility coming out. And, you know, it is what it is. That mobility is pretty punishing, too. Okay, we chased off there. Furies are hounding out Centaurs really nicely here. We did kind of lose over there. We're going to send these Marauders back. Keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. He's also, by doing this, he's really denying me any opportunity to take advantage of my army abilities, which is also a really good idea against Khorne. I'm going to lose some stuff here. I'm going to get more Minotaurs up because I really need them. And we might want to just completely hunker on the objectives now. We're going to fight Malagor. Valkia's going to try and get Malagor. We're going to pop our Bloodletter Summon here. Get out of here. Let's get out. Don't want that big boy to be getting after me there. Alright, the Halberds, they're going to try and do some damage here. They should be able to do a little bit. We've got some stuff coming in here. He's running out of ammo there also, which is good for me. We're saving up for another Mino. We really need more Minos. I mean, it's just going to be Minos all day, basically. And we're kind of killing the Gorgon here. Gorgon is taking a lot of damage right now. We need to just stay there in combat. He's just gearing up for more blitzes onto this position. We just need to keep feeding units in, man. That's just all we can do right now. We really can't do much else. He's just got the advantage in mobility right now, and I can't really stop that. We'll pop our Demon Shield. Just keep diving in. Luckily, he's trying to use, like, damaging spells against me, which is not the best thing to do against Khorne. Because you do have a lot of damage mitigation. Valkia might be able to kill the Gorgon. Not super hopeful for it. I'm going to pop this here. We're killing the Centaurs. Minotaurs are doing okay. They're just trying desperately to win this fight, man. And it's so difficult. Oh my god. We just need to hold on to these objectives, man. Valkia just needs to keep doing chip damage. Minotaurs somehow are not, like, killing all of the Centaurs here. Not 100% sure how. They should be doing better than they are, I feel. But, that's just Beastmen in a nutshell, I guess.
Slaughter personified! For the kill!
He's just got full battlefield control in terms of mobility. And I have run out of steam, I think. I think I'm probably going to lose this match now. Because, I mean, look, he's just, like, swarming all my Minotaurs out, and they're just taking too much damage on the charge, dude. Now he's got his own Minos. His own Minos are doing ridiculous amounts of damage to me. I just don't have the, I don't have the goods to deal with it, dude. So the Centaur swarm is alive and well for the Beastmen, which is very unfortunate for me. I mean, what am I supposed to do to stop it when it's like this? You can't bring infantry against Beastmen. because you just get charged down. You get throwing axed to death. And Beastmen are just so much faster, dude. Look at this shit. Oh my god. Please help me.
Taking action.
Like, I had a half-decent chance at one point here. We're gonna try and just pull through here. We'll see what our guys can do. Flesh Hounds. I just need more Flesh Hounds. Like, just unending swarms of halberds and then Flesh Hounds is good in theory. But it's a little difficult in reality to get anything done with that. You just can't chase nearly as well. And, man, the leadership on Synagor's too, dude. And you can't catch Malagor either, which also sucks. If you brought Karanak, you might be able to get him theoretically, but it's a little bit hard in practicality.
Glorious slaughter.
I'm just pop Demon Shield here. We're just popping buffs. I mean, we gotta get some damage done there. That's like the only thing that we can get to happen for us right now. We've got Minotaurs rallying out there, but they're pretty much done. All of my stuff's crumbling too. The leadership is not holding up, unfortunately. We still got our objective here. That's something, but I don't think it's enough. Look at the damage, dude. Oh my god. Minos flattening me right now. Warhounds getting run over also. Ouchie. Let's try and drag this guy over. Yeah, I think Synagors are going to have to get some kind of restrictions on them still, because, I mean, he's just brought an entire army of Synagors and then Minotaurs, and he's just completely fucked me.
The Gore Queen.
That's game. Here, let me, I'll pop you a, RTK Discord link real quick. Give me a sec, guys. Look at this. I mean, just no value anywhere on this army, dude. Skull Cannon did well. That's about it, though. Throwing Axes did okay. The Hounds and the Mobility did well. I think you... I guess I just bring an entire army against this as just, like, all Flesh Hounds. I guess that's what you do. There's one infantry unit in this army. Wow. Woof. That was rough. Alright. Give me a minute. I'm setting you up with a an invite for the RTK server. Oh, never mind. I can't actually. Okay. I can't invite people. I didn't know I could. Alright, there you go, dude. That's for you, Sane. No, I'm not done playing. I've gotta tabulate the bracket once it's finished. I'm just chatting with Rusto about the about our last game. He just ran over me with Centigores. They're still wildly overvalued. We are waiting on Hidden Samurai Style. We're waiting on their game, Navigator and B6, Via Anime and Elvio, and I need to go and make sure that people are getting their buy rounds counted for them. Okay, so Harrison lost a game. Who did Rusto lose to? What the hell? Oh, lost to... Oh, Grombrundle's playing Dwarves, so... Dwarves are still decent against Centigores. Dang, I missed out on the, I think I'm gonna miss out on the top 4. That sucks, man. Didn't get the, I didn't get the tiebreakers I needed, so... I actually am done playing for the day, but we're gonna do semis and finals. I'll stream those. And after my tournament, I am gonna sign off, but I'm gonna come back and I'm probably gonna play in Harrison's tournament later tonight. So I'll probably just do 2 streams. But once I'm done here, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna go hang out with my friend. We're gonna watch something. We're gonna hang out for a bit, and then for this tournament at 9 p.m. I'll show you off here. We're going to be playing in the 9 p.m. tournament here later tonight. Yeah, AG, I think that Centigores are just going to have a hard cap, or they're just going to just obliterate stuff. It's really crazy how strong the charge bonus on Beastman is. I mean, they just get in there, and they just flatten everything. They just run over all your units, man. I mean, what else am I gonna play, Bompy? That's my, this is my faction. I'm playing them till the day I die, I think. I didn't really think that I was gonna end up becoming a Chaos main. And a Corn main specifically, but I don't know what it is about this faction. It just clicks with me. It's so appealing. They're so fun. Oh hell yeah! Well, I'm glad you're enjoying watching me play them because you know I've got a lot of knowledge about them. They are definitely not the best faction in the game. Just not having access to magic, and then you know some of the stuff about Khorne just leaves their roster a little limited. You know, you don't really have any like mid-tier flying units. So against some factions, like Demons of Chaos specifically, it gets really difficult to challenge the air. Because Bloodthirsters, I did a little bit of testing with Bloodthirsters, and they're still kind of underwhelming. Like the extra bonus versus large and the extra weapon strength is nice, but they're still overcosted for what they do. These guys could be 1,800 gold, and they would still they would be in a much better place. For 2,000, they're just too expensive. So, also, just not having a lot of missiles as well. You know, you can get out-traded pretty hard at times by some of the factions in the game. But that's fine by me. The general playstyle clicks with me, and I just love Bloodletters and the really nice infantry. It's really nice to be able to take a frontline fight and actually win an engagement. The vortex on the Khorne cannons are really crazy. I mean, if you've watched any of my videos or heard me talk about skull cannons in the past, I've always been a believer in them. I never thought that they were like outright terrible. They certainly leave a lot to be desired, but adding the vortex on them has pushed them over the top to just being an outright good unit now. And I think that they're almost an auto-include against some factions. I think if I play Beastmen again, if there isn't a Centaur cap, I'm just bringing like 2 Skull Cannons and just, you know, max Fleshhounds, max Furies, max Warhounds, and, you know, Valkia, obviously. Just like anything to not get run over like that again. Slaupnir is only good against infantry, really. And you're not going to see that in that Beastman matchup again, I don't think. So just like doing this against the Beastman, I think is just an absolute necessity if there's not a hard cap on the Centaurs. Just because of the way that last game went, I'm fully convinced that that's what I would have to lean into. I mean, their aim is still crap, AG. Don't get me wrong. They'll outright miss like multiple shots in a row. Okay, I think we're ready for the top 4 now. Seems like everybody's done with their games. What's it looking like for the top 4? We'll just go ahead and advance it. Harrison's in here talking to me right now. He needs to... Okay. So top 4 is Rusto, Harrison, Solisora, and Grombrindle right now. I'm going to ping them all. At Grombrindle. Solisora. I literally just looked at this. Why is my memory so shit? Oh yeah, Rusto. And Harrison. Hell yeah. Slick. Vampire counts are viable. They're a very limited roster, though. There are matchups they just outright cannot win. Or at least maybe I shouldn't say that. I think every matchup for every faction is winnable, but as to whether it's like a good matchup for them is another question. And I think there are some very, very, very difficult matchups for vampire counts. But just play what you like. And be an expert at it, you know? I mean, Khorne is not a top-tier faction. But I would definitely say that there's only a handful of matchups where I really despair of my opportunities of winning. You know? Be the guy that is the meta. Don't let the meta define who you are as a player. That's my opinion. And in those circumstances where you are playing a faction that's not quite as like high tier and has a little bit worse matchup spread, I think that can really challenge you to improve and become a much better player once you start branching out and playing on other factions. That's just my opinion. It also helps to be really good at factions that people perceive as weaker, because people won't ban them out as often if you get into a pick and ban tournament. So you can like sneak them in and force your opponent into a matchup that you think they might be more comfortable on, but is actually more favored for you, just because you have more experience and are better at playing the game on that faction. Alright. We're gonna try and spec Rusto. Really want to see, I really would love to see his match here. We'll get Harrison and Soli here as well. That way we can see the semis get played out a little bit. Blah, please come to me. Trying to get us a spec slot. I was a little slow on the draw for one of them. I don't know if we're going to be able to... I would love to be able to spec them, but we might need to wait for the replays. Yeah, I think they're all in match. We'll wait, and I'll try and get the replays for you, and then we can spec those. And maybe in the meantime we can do something else. Ooh. Least favorite faction? Dude, that's a hard question for me. I mean, I like playing all of them. I think, in terms of just actually playing the faction, I don't love Slaanesh. Just not really my cup of tea in terms of play style. Grand Cathay is probably one of the ones that I don't love playing a ton. Other than that, I think all of the factions are pretty fun to play. Skaven, one of my faves. Beastmen, they're really fun. What else? Wood Elves? Wood Elves I don't love playing, but I mix it up every now and then. I've played them a bit. They're interesting. They're a lot better after they got buffed a few patches ago. Still waiting for a response from Soli as to whether we can spec their semis match. But regardless, Rust is sending us the replay of him and Harrison's game, so we'll be able to get we'll be able to see that, and then we can definitely. I'll be sure to get us the finals game. Yeah, Cathay is fun if you want to play like a more historical Total War style of game, which is pretty cool. Being in like a fantasy setting, I do love their mechanics and how they work. But the actual like playing that out for me, I just don't like. I love mobile factions that hit hard and have really aggressive play styles. And Slaanesh has that, but Slaanesh is so incredibly micro-intensive, and their infantry is very squishy. And I don't know, the way you play the faction is just a little bit less interesting to me than Khorne is, because Khorne can actually like stick in a fight and grind out your opponent, which I think is a little bit more enjoyable. Like, I'll fully admit that I'm not good enough to play Slaanesh to their peak performance, I think. Alright, sweet. We're finally getting in here. Get away from here. So we've got Soli and Grombrindle. Wood Elves versus Dowie is going to be a wild-ass matchup. It's usually pretty dwarf-favored, too. Dowie have really good answers to a lot of the Wood Elf shooting. So I would be surprised to see the Wood Elves here, but Soli is a top-tier player and definitely has the chops to be able to make this happen here. anybody's going to win a pretty unfavorable matchup, it would be them. Yeah, Slaanesh has odd mechanics. That can be very, like, antithetical to, like, people getting to play the game, so to speak. That Pavane ability from their spell kit, so strong. I mean, you basically, for free, get to kill a unit. And I know personally that I've definitely been on the receiving end of the worst of that at times. Spells like that, by the way, are like the absolute worst thing that Khorne can go up against. Like, not being able to maneuver around as freely, and having to be forced into engaging at the wrong time, especially against another faction like Slaanesh, where they have really good tools to punish your own units. And puts you at a huge disadvantage, and Khorne has no way of mitigating that. Because the way that spell resistance works, it doesn't shorten the duration of Pavane. They just get the full effect out of that for free. The only thing it lessens is the damage that your unit takes from Pavane. So, there's still some slight changes that I'd like to see CA make to this game. They really need to fix aerial combat, because it's so funky. That's the biggest thing they need to look at, because if they're gonna make a Warhammer 40k game, I mean, there's gonna be shit tons of air units in that. And with the way the aerial combat works in this game, the game would be an absolute disaster if they released it with the way that aerial combat works here. They've got to figure something out for it, because, like, melee units literally just can't hit stuff that's running away from them. So, that's partly why gyros were so powerful in the last patch, and why they got fire while moving turned off, was because they just run away, and chasing them didn't mean anything. Like, they would just fly around and continue, like, shooting your units and dropping bombs on top of them, and they never had to stop. So they just got to farm value for free. Now with Fire at Will turned off, they're a little less powerful. They got some weapon strength nerfs on them too, but they're still pretty good. Just the overall, like, engine needs a bit of an overhaul before they can, like, move on to do other stuff, in my opinion. Or they need to, like, use something else. You know? I mean, this is the same engine from Warhammer 1, so it's almost a decade old at this point. You can kind of see some of the cracks in it at this stage. But everything else about Warhammer and a lot of the other stuff is great because, I don't know, it's one of the few games where, like, the trailers and the actual gameplay, they can damn near look identical to one another if you, like, zoom in and focus in on what's going on with the battlefield and the units. Super cinematic, very free-flowing for the most part, and just has some of the best variety of any multiplayer game out there right now. So we've got some organ guns, we've got Thanes here with Belagar, Mighty Oathstone, Revenge Incarnate. He's also got Hammer of Angrand here, giving him some nice little buffs. Basically, it looks like it's kind of like a Frenzy type deal. Doesn't get immune to Psychology, unfortunately for him. Kind of funny that he can be terror-routed. Longbeards, Bugman's Rangers, and some regular Rangers backing up a lot of these guys. And Deepwood Scouts, man, with the Swift Shiver Shards out here. Getting a little bit of poke against the Dwarf Warriors. They're, oh shit, my bad. I'm so sorry, there we go. Alright, we haven't missed anything, though. We've got the Thanes and all the Dowie Warriors moving up. We've got an organ gun back here. It's shooting at the Deepwood Scouts. Silver Shield's mitigating a lot of the damage from the Swift Shiver Shards. And you can see how punishing that Dwarven Missile Fire is in return. Dwarves with a nice little value lead here in the opening. We've got lots of War Dancers for Solasora here, Drycha in the middle. Drycha's a really good combatant, but she's not going to do much to the Thanes and Beligar. And all these guys have silver shields. So Grombrindle really showing off the matchup knowledge there. Being able to bring all of these very durable units that are very resilient to all of the missiles. We've got Starfire Shafts and Hagbane Tips out here. And some Wildwood Rangers making an appearance, you know. After the most recent changes, they're coming in. They've got the bonus versus infantry. Maybe going to put a bit of a hurting down on the Dowie here. But so far, Grombrindle with a huge value lead. The organ guns are just pounding in here. Doing a really good job of changing the targeting over time as well. Getting in here. Firing at a variety of different positions. Just applying a little bit of damage across the field is a good use out of your artillery. Drycha's fighting the Thanes in here, and she's kind of getting beat up, actually. You can see she's trying to run away out of here, but Beligar gets a nice little attack in there. She's down to about half health. Losing your Lord as Wood Elves, especially since she's so cheap, and she's the only caster on the field, I believe. She's, you know, getting a little bit of damage in there with Melkoths, but look at this, man. War Dancers in full retreat from the Thanes. The organ gun continuing to pound in, helping the leader blob here in the middle. And Dowie just pushing through the front line really nicely. We've got the Malevolent Dryad summon right here in the back. And these Dowie warriors probably going to break here. But getting stiffened up a little bit by having their Thanes and Beligar around them. So maybe they can hang in here. They could probably stand to just sit and fight here. Grind out a little bit of value against the Glade Riders before they break. As I say that, though, of course, they get dumpstered, and they're going to be running for the hills. Rangers and Bugman's Rangers fighting off some Glade Riders back here. Glade Riders are a really nice unit. They can provide a lot of battlefield control for the Wood Elves, and trying to get after the organ guns, but the Dragonback Slayers come in and stop up their charge, and they're going to rip these guys apart, man. Big anti-large bonus here of 24. Really good stats. They actually imbue flammable, which I did not realize until just now. And Wildwood Rangers taking a fight against the Slayers, but I think that's pretty even, quite honestly. I mean, the Slayers actually end up breaking these guys and still having a little bit to give. Taking a glorious enough death for themselves, I guess, there. Thanes blocking up a lot of mobility here. Soli is having a lot of problems getting into the backfield very cleanly. This organ gun has used up quite a bit of its ammunition. It's got 1100 value, just about paid for itself here. We've got some miners forcing a response out here on the side of the battlefield here. On the number 3 objective, more Wildwood Rangers coming out. The Starfire Shafts are nice and healthy. They're probably getting some pretty good value here. Not tremendous amounts, though. Look at the differential here. I mean, 3,000 gold value up for the Dowie here. Grombrindle proving the superiority of the Dowie in this particular matchup. A little bit of vengeance here against the Elgi. They got called short a few too many times. Thane coming in here, getting after the Glade Guard and the Swift Shiver Shards. Doing a decent job of shutting these guys down right now. This is 2 missile units that the Wood Elves really need to be providing some value. A lot of Dowie Warriors have fallen, but most of the missile units, the Bugman's Rangers and the regular variants, they're doing very well for themselves, shooting some of the War Dancers off of these Dwarf Warriors here. These poor War Dancers, man, absolute butchery here, just getting peppered down by all of these missiles right now, taking horrendous casualties. And we've got more Glade Riders trying to respond in kind here. They do get a decent charge, but they're pretty tattered right now. Probably not going to be able to grind through that Ranger unit. Dowie leadership is pretty resilient in these kind of circumstances. And the Dragonback Slayers going all the way into the back line here, getting after these Glade Guard. Chasing the Swift Shiver Shards back. Probably just want to stand and fight the Glade Guard here. Get rid of them and then keep pushing. And what are the Wood Elves going to do about these guys? You got to use infantry to clear Slayers for the most part, but don't really have a lot of armor, so the Slayers are still going to do decent damage just because of their weapon strength and melee attack. They won't trade as well as they do against large targets, but it's still a nice situation for them. Belagar continuing to chase Drycha down, and Drycha's going to help these Wild Riders out. They do get some good damage on the Rangers, but they're still taking missile fire back here. But Rally and Glade Riders get on top of the Bugmans here. Wild Riders helping lance these guys down. Chewing back, I don't know, maybe chewing back a little bit of value. Organ Gun does get taken out here. I think focus fired down by the Glade Guard here, getting their shots on target. And man, it's looking chaotic as hell out here. War Dancers trying to hold this objective out here away from the miners with blasting charges. They're going to get absolutely murdered by the remainder of that volley, though. Longbeards fighting against the Starfire Shafts here. These Wildwood Rangers are doing good. They've gotten into the back lines a bit, doing some nice damage. Maybe going to be able to push back here and start chewing through more of the missiles for the Dowie. And Dowie holding on to the number 2, trying to get the number 3 out here, finally managing to capture this, but more Wildwood Rangers coming out. We'll see what they're able to do. The Ekron's miners should be able to just blasting charge them to death out there. We'll come back to it in a bit. The Dragonback Slayers helping destroy this Eternal Guard unit with the assistance of some Dwarf Warriors. Man, holding on to this middle objective is still tenuous at best for the Dowie. More War Dancers coming out. Slayers don't really want to take that fight. Looks like they're going to be trying to get out of here. The missiles have started to get shut down for the Dowie. There's a lot of very tattered Rangers around the battlefield. We've got some more Rangers here. They did, fortunately, dual break. The Glade Riders broke at the same time as these Rangers. These guys will rally nicely. And Quarrelers coming out. Quarrelers really need to do something about this Wildwood Ranger unit. Really can't afford to give up this number 3 objective. Tickets are in favor of the Wood Elves right now. The Wood Elves do still have a decent number of units out on the battlefield. I have no idea how exactly it is that the Wood Elves are hanging in here like this with this value deficit. They don't really have any healing to speak of right now. But I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that Dowie are so slow moving up onto points. Good charge from these Wild Riders. Getting after the Quarrelers. They do have to peel out, though, because of the Slayers. Quarrelers would do really nicely just to shoot in on the rear of these guys as they're retreating. Slayers responding to this pressure in the back line. Do need to move up onto the point here because the Wood Elves are slowly capping this number 2 objective. The Dowie Warriors are rallying back to the middle here. The Thanes and Belagar getting up on top of these War Dancers. War Dancers in the Shadows Coil stance right now. Going to be very hard to do damage to these guys in melee, but the heroes should be a little bit better at it. You can see just how high their melee defense here is with the Mighty Oathstone popped right now. 79 melee defense is really good. Solely pushing back and getting away from that fight. Curious to see where those guys go. Dowie slowly capping up the number 1 objective, and Drycha is running for her life. She is probably going to rally, though. Leadership at 0. We'll see if she's able to get back in here and just hide out at the back of the map. It's the best thing that Sully can do right now with that Lord. And the number 3 objective does get taken. The Ekron's miners do get shut down before they can ruin the Wild Riders' day here. And we'll see. Holding the 2 and the 1 is probably the best bet for the Dowie. This is where they've got the most units and they've got the better position at. They just need to keep pushing up and pushing out here. Make sure that they secure this and hold it with some units. Bugman's Rangers counterfiring the Swiftshiver Shards. Those shards have done good work. Lots of Wildwood Rangers coming out. They're going to be very devastating to the Longbeards and the Slayers here. Rangers are going to have to do some seriously heavy lifting here, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. A lot of them are quite tattered. There's Glade Riders coming in here. They're probably going to shut these guys down. These Slayers are going to have to protect both of these missile units. The issue at hand here for the Dowie is if the Glade Riders can keep disengaging and getting good attacks from the flank. I'm going to really chew through those guys. Wildwood Rangers here fighting against the Slayers and a few Dragonback Slayers as well. Applying some good damage to these guys, but giving it right back in return. Dowie probably going to be able to trade evenly here, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough. Wood Elves are going to be able to flip this middle objective shortly here. They're going to have to break some of these missile units. Definitely going to have to get after these Wildwood Rangers and try to not get chewed up. These guys are probably going to be decently powerful against the Thane and Beligar here. One Thane going after the Starfire Shafts, but does see the error of his ways and rallies back to his brethren. Getting back in here, trying to right the wrongs of the War of Vengeance. And they're getting some good damage in there, no doubt. But the Wildwood Rangers, with the anti-infantry profile they have now, probably going to be able to punch back really nicely against those very heavily armored lords. Miners getting in here. Looks like they got a little bit of a blasting charge volley in here, doing good work against the Eternal Guard. Glade Riders getting dragged down by the Slayers. Slayers doing nasty damage to those guys. But we do have Wildwood Rangers moving up onto the point now. They have Vanguard deployment. Wow, that's really nice. Giving the Wood Elves a lot of battlefield mobility advantage there. Slayers are going to do a good job of holding these guys up, and the Rangers, Longbeards, trying to hold on to this #1 objective. Looks like the Wood Elves have maneuvered off of the #2. Dowey can't overextend here. The numbers for the Dowey are starting to look a little more favorable, reflecting the advantage and value that they've got. Rangers pushing up, helping shoot down the Wildwoods here. Holding on to 2 objectives, trying to cap the #3 as well. I think that it's, oh my god, it's so close in terms of the tickets here. I don't think it's a triple cap situation. It's damn close, though. And these miners really do need to just stay here. Soak up as much attention from the Wood Elves as possible. Bugman's Rangers getting good overlapping fire onto the Wild Riders and the Glade Riders, both of which are breaking here. Gonna scoot up a little bit. Definitely need to hammer into those War Dancers and the Wildwood Rangers. Probably finishing the Rangers off first and then using the other Ranger just to shoot the War Dancers a bit is probably the best answer there for the Dowey. Very strongly held #2. The #1 is still being held onto by the Dowey, and these Longbeards taking the fight against the Wildwood Rangers, showing absolutely no fear despite the unfavorable matchup that they have here. Wildwood Rangers really not performing as well as I would have thought against the Dowey, but Grombrindle has been doing a really good job of not letting them get into combat for free and getting some missile fire onto all of these lightly armored targets. Getting some pretty favorable trades. Rangers say fuck it and they just go balls deep into the Starfire Shafts. They're doing their very best to hold up these units while their brethren get some good fire on top of the very lightly armored elves here. They do break the Rangers, they're going to break the Miners, but are these infantry going to be enough? Beligar's moving over now from the middle, getting up onto the #1 objective to help hold. Some very tattered Slayers moving out. Looks like they're getting into the back to try and get after Drycha, I think. Which is very funny. I wonder if they're going to be able to catch her, but Drycha is maneuvering. I don't know if they'll be able to get after her in time. And the pressure out here on the #3. Elves are barely holding on to this. Ranger fire doing decently, but some more Rangers out here running for their lives. Blasting charges, not able to get all their volleys off. This one getting shut down a little bit by the Wild Riders that have pushed into them. But the Bugman's Rangers doing nicely for themselves. Free value just firing into the flanks here. Doing really good damage to the Wild Riders, I think is what they're shooting at right now. Regardless, there's so many elf units bunched up here that I think they're hitting a little bit of everything. The War Dancers and the Wild Riders alike. Shadow's Coil being popped so they get the extra melee defense just to be a little bit more durable. And the Thanes move over onto the #3, forcing an even bigger response from the High Elf player, or the Wood Elf player out here. Solely doing a lot to try and hang on to this objective. Wow, the Thanes actually break the War Dancers as they charge in, doing really nicely there. Glade Riders running out of steam here. Wildwood Rangers over pursuing these Rangers. These Rangers are going to rally here in just a second. Yeah, they're going to be able to turn and probably just lay waste into these Wildwoods, while the Miners are going to probably get some good volleys off on the Eternal Guard. Getting a nice volley there, doing a little bit of damage. Charging into melee combat to try and even this out. Wood Elves have to hold on to this objective. I think it is actually triple cap territory. #1 very firmly held. Rangers getting some good volleys onto the War Dancers. War Dancers, they do get the Woven Mist popped on them, so they do have 40% missile resistance right now. Moving up to try and shut down these Rangers. Dowey need more units on this point right now. everything needs to just jump on here and try and cap this objective up. All the Rangers need to go there too. You've got 70 seconds here, man. Oh my god. Sully might just barely win this on points. These War Dancers getting up here. Quarrelers and the Rangers still desperately trying to shoot the Elves off. Cap weight is still being flipped. The Dowie are barely flipping this objective. If these Eternal Guard break, maybe it'll be enough. Dowie maybe going to take this. If the Dowie take this, it's game. The Wood Elves are not going to be able to take this objective back in time, I think. Where did Drycha go? Oh, no. Drycha. I think Drycha died out here somewhere. I have no idea where, but I don't see her on the battlefield anywhere.
Woeful tidings. The enemy has captured one of
Oh, that's devastating. That would probably be why. I completely missed that. I was just pondering whether they would get her, but it looks like she broke at some point and fled off the battlefield. And the Dowie do flip the point, and Grombrindle is going to take this game. What a well-played match here, man. Wire to wire on this, and I don't know how the hell Sully is hanging on with this value difference, man. 5,000 gold over the Wood Elves right now, and just barely winning this game, dude. Super well-played match by the Dowie. And Wood Elves, man, Sully just scrapping in there till the very end. Almost managing to pull off a win on the tickets, dude. What a fucking match. Holy hell. Organ Gun did nicely. Bugman's Rangers with big value. These Rangers also doing really well for themselves. Being summoned out multiple times, I know, but still doing really nicely in response, man. Quarrelers did well. Slayers didn't do too nicely for themselves, but they did what they needed to. They died gloriously for a Dwarven victory here today. Well played. What's going on here? Alright, we got the other semifinal match, but we're gonna go spec Rusto and Grombrindle. Cool. Alright, spec slots here. Is it this one? No, this is where we just were. Alright. We're gonna get ourselves into the grand finals here. Maybe. Alright, so Beastmen versus Dwarves, man. Okay. So Grombrindle did beat Rust earlier in the tournament. We'll see if Rust is going to be able to pull this off somehow. It is the day of reckoning. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. I'm not going to spoil it for how Grombrindle beat the Beastman last time, because we might be seeing the same build here, and it's going to be an absolute. It's going to be hilarity to the max potentially. Okay. We're going to let them pick their armies. I'm going to flip away just so that I don't give the game up by accident. And we will go make sure that everything else is going nicely for the tournament. I do need to finalize the bracket side of things, so I'm going to probably go ahead and do that. Oh, I guess I did. Well, never mind. Okay, yeah, I just need to finalize the top 4 when the time comes. So, Dowie have been doing pretty poorly here so far in the meta. Oh, this isn't where I'm going. I'm going to stats. You can see here they're dwelling at about 41%. They've struggled pretty badly. They're doing a lot better today. Grombrindle has been playing really well, very on point with the micro and the targeting from the missiles, which is obviously very important for them. And bringing a little bit of something different with that organ gun last game. Usually you just saw like mass bolt throwers from the Dowie in the last patch. But after the nerfs, maybe those bolt throwers aren't nearly as effective. They are much squishier now. They fire a lot slower, so their DPS is much worse. That was probably the best thing about those bolt throwers, was firing very quickly for an artillery piece. I mean, 13 seconds to fire is comparable with some of the missile units in the game. So yeah, Dowie losing really hard to Vampire Coast and Skaven. I mean, Skaven is not surprising at all. Vampire Coast, I think dwarves have some pretty good tools against the vampires. You know, bows tend to just absolutely dominate Coast, so I think maybe this is just down to like some newer folks not really knowing the matchup as well. But I'd have to ask around to find out. I think this one will definitely even out over time. At the very least, it's even. Khorne, I've played a couple of matches against Dowie, so that's a very hard matchup for the dwarves. Khorne has so many good tools to get after the dwarves. And now after the gyro nerfs, you aren't really afraid of getting shot to pieces by the aerial units as badly anymore. So I think it's even more Khorne favored. Dark Elves, a little bit surprising. I need to see some Dark Elf players, man. Let's see some Dark Elf love in the future. Only 3 games played on them. They got some buffs for sure. Be very curious to see if they perform any better from the last patch after all of the attention that they got. And Vampire counts, they're pit dwelling right now, unfortunately. Man, Bretonia down here, 0-5. Falling Star did nicely with them against me, but really not holding up their end of the bargain so far in this patch. I guess the buffs to the Questing Knights is really not quite proving to be enough. So, unfortunately, Sully is knocked out. We've got Grombrindle down here, and we've got a couple of players looking for their first tourney wins of the season here. Rusto and Grombrindle both scrapping in here to get on top of the leaderboard right now. Getting the wins in the early part of the seasons is pretty huge. Cold One Knights still shit, probably. They got a big HP buff, and if I'm not mistaken, let's actually go look at the patch notes. So I'm not talking out of my ass a little bit, but if I'm not mistaken, they got HP as well as some stat bonuses. Let's get down here. Yeah, so Doomfire Warlocks got their recruitment cost reduced, which is very appropriate. They were super overcosted, and yeah. They got 500 extra hit points. They got a little bit less melee attack, but it was melee defense that they got more of. They'll probably be a little bit better. Maybe won't be quite as bad, but I don't know if they'll be. I don't know if they'll be quite in line with their cost still. They're just a very unique, like, specialist unit, and it can be kind of hard to get the most out of those guys because of that. Alright, we're kicking off the battle here. Oh my god. Okay, it's happening, guys. We've got a Thunderbarge sighting in the wild. Malagor the Dark Omen. Some Wargors. Tons of Ungors coming out from the Beastmen here. I don't imagine that the Centaurs are very good at getting rid of the Thunder Barge. So we're going to see if Rust is able to carry the game here with the power of the Thunder Barge, man. Very excited to show this thing off. Oh, thoughts so far on the patch? It's a good patch. I don't think anything is extremely broken that wasn't already kind of broken. I mean, AG, this is what Grombrindle brought against Rust in the first game and actually won. Rust was telling me that the Thunder Barge got 5,000 value in the first game. We'll see if it can carry the day here. I do think Rust is playing a different build right now, though. So that might be a little bit better for the Beastman. He almost won it on points. We'll have to see. I mean, the Thunder Barge is still insane. It is a great unit. It's very cool, too. Slowly and ponderously advancing right now. It's got the, it is always flying, but it's got the Spear of Grungni here. It's got the Afterburner, so it can get a little bit faster. It does do damage to itself as it goes, though. So probably not going to be seeing a ton of that right now. Gyrocopters moving up, looking to just gun down some of the Ungor herds, I'm sure. Maybe looking for some of the Ungor Raiders, lining up to get some volleys in here on the Gyrocopters. Really good micro right out of that, that location, getting away from the worst of the damage that the Ungor Raiders are bringing. Malagor is decent against Copters, actually, but I don't know if just him is going to be enough. There's going to need... Yeah, there's some Harpies coming in. Harpies don't do a lot of damage to Gyros, but they'll be able to chase them. And with the change to not be able to fire on the move, it might be enough. Look at the damage from the Thunder Barge. Oh my god. With the assists from the Gyros here, nailing the Ungor herds, but taking a little damage from Malagor. Malagor got a nice little slap in there. He's flying after him. He's insanely fast. He's got 121 speed, but devastating damage from the Grimdelvers. Oh my god. Brutal damage. The stalk from these guys, so he didn't see them in time. Rune of Slowness being popped on him too, and the Gyros turn about face and unload into him as well. Nicely played by Grombrindle, man. Getting a big spike in value here in the early going. More Harpies coming out, trying to deal with the Gyros, but the Grim Delvers in this position here obliterate one Harpy. Probably going to turn about face and just unload into these guys as well. Gyros supporting their fellow Aviators. Aviators stick together. A Harpoon comes in and nails Malagor. Malagor might rout here. His leadership is broken, -10. Oh, man, he doesn't have his leadership buffing ability either. He does have Icons of Vilification, which gives 12 leadership and an aura. I don't think he'd be routing if he had that, but he is going to rally. His leadership is stabilizing a little bit. Grim Delvers just punishing the aerial units and the Gyrocopters. Look like they might be going after Malagor here. Not 100% sold on that. There is another flock of Harpies coming in. Thunder Barge maneuvering around, taking a lot of damage from the Afterburner, trying to get into position to assist the middle objective here. Middle objective is held by the Dowie, but slowly being flipped by the Beastmen here. And the Grim Delvers stand alone against a tide of Pestigors. Blackhorn's Ravagers coming after them, unloading into them, doing disgusting damage. But really needing some assistance here, man. They have got to get a little bit of help before they get taken care of. These guys have been really clutch for peeling off the Harpies. Thunder Barge looks to be going after Malagor here, dropping some of the bombs, missing a little bit, but a couple of those bombs surely in this next wave will be doing good damage. Look at the Wargors down here. Wargors handling the Dragon Slayer right now. Dragon Slayer desperately trying to fight back, but taking nasty damage from these guys. They're very good anti-infantry duelists. They've got good stats, they've got a bonus versus infantry as well, and they just absolutely wreck the Dragon Slayer. Brutal damage, and good micro coming in from Rust, avoiding the bombs from the Thunder Barge here. Thunder Barge has gotten pretty good value, though. It's continuing to fire in. 1,600 damage. Oh, and the Pestigors all break here. Running for their lives, the Grindelvers hold on despite it all. And the Dowie almost capturing the number 3 objective here. There are some Dragonback Slayers moving up to get after these Pestigors. Some gyrocopters landed in melee combat, it looks like. Very interesting choice. I'm not 100% sure why. But we do have a bit of a rally from some Pestigors and the Blackhorn's Ravagers here, looking to get after all of those guys. Harpies do catch one of the gyrocopters. Long-drawn Slayer Pirates moving up uncontested to the number 1, and it looks like Thoric Ironbrow here, with the assistance from the other Dragon Slayer, do rout one of the Wargors, working on getting rid of this other one, but I think this Dragon Slayer is probably cooked here. Thoric stands alone on the middle objective here. Malagor barely hanging in here. Thunder Barge has not been able to get as much value as it really needs to be right now, getting absolutely hounded down by the Manticore here. The Grim Delvers are locked down by the Blackhorn's Ravagers right now. They are not able to assist in shooting this Manticore off. Thunder Barge is moving around, and you can see the aerial combat shenanigans going on right now. Poor Manticore cannot hit the Thunder Barge, despite being right on top of it. This is what I was talking about, guys. This is the pain of the current engine that CA is using for this game. Thunder Barge is completely locked in and just not able to get damaged by the Feral Manticore here. Big bombing run incoming, it looks like. Oh, and a nice shot against Malagor. Malagor takes a little bit of damage from the gyros. Rust really needs to get this guy out of here. He's going to get wrecked by these gyros if he stays here. Able to get out of there, takes a little bit of fire from them. His leadership does tank a little bit, since these guys do technically apply the damage by artillery debuff. Good bombing run, does a little bit of damage. Thoric is somehow alive there. The Manticore still chasing, gets a little bit of damage. Thunder Barge stopped moving for a minute. The only way the Manticore is going to kill the Thunder Barge is if it stops moving, unfortunately. So, I think we're going to have to look into banning the Thunder Barge again because of this. The same problems that have applied in the past still applying here, but still doing a little bit of damage. Afterburners does get used just to get ahead here. It might kill itself if Grombrindle is not careful here. Does really need this this thing in the air to provide some more damage. Finally slows down. Really good micro there. Paying very close attention, and we've got the Pestigors breaking in the middle. Grombrindle, or not Grombrindle, Thoric Ironbrow holding in here, beating up on the Wargor. Being up on his throne too makes him a large target. So Wargor not getting any bonuses against that guy. Doing really well. Razor Gore Chariots coming out, doing their best to shut down the shooting. Looks like the Grim Delvers did get dealt with. But number 3 objective held by the Dowie. Number 2 objective looks like it might start getting taken. Thunder Barge goes down to the Manticore and the Harpy Swarm. This might be the point at which it starts turning in favor of the Beastmen here. Thunder is coming out. Another Dragon Slayer returning to the field. Razor Gore Chariots being the absolute bane of the Dowie's existence back here. Running over the Dwarf Warriors. Slayers are going to have to hold in here somehow. Beastmen are pretty gassed right now. I mean, both players very even on value, but I think that the mobility of the Beastmen is going to start really taking over here. These Thunderers turning to fire at the Sons of Goros, charging in through the trees, gonna run over these guys, flattening them on the charge. Really nice damage too, I'm sure. Look at that, taking them down to about half health in no time flat, and some rallying Pestigors get on the rear of the Thunderers, and losing this unit is painful. 700 gold unit. They did get about 400 before they go. There is a Dragon Slayer up on the number 1 objective, but the cap weight for the Dowie is not great. Did they take this? They did take the middle objective here. Thoric continuing to fight in. He is all alone, though. He's going to start suffering pretty badly just from the sheer weight of attacks from all of these Beastmen out here. Dragon Slayer helping the Dwarf Warriors here, killing some of the models of the Razor Gore Chariots. Razor Gore Chariots are really good in my experience against Dowie. We'll see how they hold up into the late game. Pestigors finishing off those Thunderers. Sons of Goros. Where have the Sons of Goros gone? Oh, they got in here. Sons of Goros are on top of Thoric Ironbrow. And if they kill him, this might be game for the Dowie. Rusto grinding out a bit of a value lead here after the really unfortunate engagements in the early game. Harpies swarming after the Gyros now. Doing just enough to deal with the Air Core. Not a lot of cap weight on the number 3 objective for the Dwarves. Not holding the middle, and down goes Thoric, the Feral Manticore, with the assist from the Sons of Goros, who are up to 1130 value here. Starting to get really overwhelming, and I think this might be it for the Dowie. I don't know if they're going to be able to get on enough of these caps in time. More gyros coming out, but they're still being hounded down by Harpies, and that changed with the inability to fire while on the move, coming in clutch right now for the Beastmen. They're not going to be able to do anything until they get free, and I don't know if they're going to be able to find a place to get these Harpies off of them. They don't have any infantry to like land on top of and get some assistance from. Their Dowie Warriors here intercepted by the Sons of Goros. One Razor Gore Chariot in this unit left. Charging through these guys, doing a little bit of damage as it goes through. Helping out, every little bit counts against the Dowie. Very stalwart infantry, but very low on leadership now. Lord dead, losing currently, frightened by enemy units, attacked in flank. All of these debuffs coming in pretty clutch for potentially pushing these guys off very soon here. Dowie grinding back, trying to just take some of these objectives, and the Butchers of Kalkengard come up, and they get on top of the number 1 objective. They are getting outcapped currently, but some Pestigors, 23 Pestigors move over and are just barely holding this cap for the Beastmen, trying to get rid of this Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer's going to do alright against the Butchers, but you know, they do have pretty good combat stats. They'll probably be able to finish this guy off. And I don't think he's going to be able to get through them. If he had fire damage, he'd be doing a lot better against these guys. But not having it, very painful right now. Gyro's going after Malagor again. Malagor does get found yet again. He has been hiding at the back of the map this entire time, desperately trying to avoid Dowie attention. They turn their guns on him, do a little bit of damage. He does not break. Dowie... They've got to kill Malagor here. Oh, he does break. Why did he break? His leadership never went negative. This is a big loss for the Beastmen. If he routes off the map, there's going to be big routes here. And the Dowie somehow back on the middle here with the Dragon Slayer and the one Dragonback Slayer running around with his best friend here, trying to do some damage to the Sons of Goros, actually pick off a model as they move through. Harpies, they do shatter. They are off the field now. Butchers of Kalkengard still doing enough to hold on to this objective here. Some gyrocopters moving over to apply some damage to the Butchers maybe, or actually just trying to get away from the Harpies. Harpies taking a little bit of damage, from this other gyro. Gyro need to just go back here, get rid of Malagor, and you're going to see like a big break from the Beastmen potentially. But the Beastmen are capping up the number 3 objective. The Dowie not having anything up on that point, proving to be pretty disastrous for them. They have, they've been in a position at various points to maybe get lucky. Here at the end of the game, they're going to have to get lucky. I don't think they win this without Malagor somehow routing and all of these Beastmen units breaking. But I think there's enough infantry out here to at least hold on to one objective. They've got 2 right now. This third one barely being held on by them. Slayers do move up. They're on top of the Butchers. They're going to wreck these guys. Butchers have pretty low armor, so the Slayers are going to do really nicely for them. They do manage to cap this objective up, but they lose the number 3 in the meantime. And I do think that Rusto is going to be the victor here, taking a win over the villainous Dowie. Dowie coming in with the Thunder Barge and just hordes of gyros. But I don't think it's going to be enough, man. Sons of Goros get one last good charge in here. They've got 1,900 value and counting. Do they get over the 2,000 mark? I don't think they do, but man, oh man, is that nice for them. 1,300 gold unit, I think. Paying for themselves well. And that's going to be it. Big win by Rust here. Very well played, taking down the Thunder Barge. Somehow, someway, finding a way to get rid of that disgusting monstrosity, man. The Thunder Barge, obviously still kind of broken. That Manticore was just fruitlessly chasing it for 2 or 3 minutes. And all the while it was just rolling around, so we might need to look into talking about banning the Thunder Barge again. Didn't get its value back. That's very unfortunate. Russ doing just enough to be able to deal with that, and just having the sheer weight of numbers on the ground and able to grind out a win on the cap points and start taking over that game in the fourth quarter. It was looking real grim for him at one point, but that's the kind of scrappiness you need to win these kind of matchups. Nothing's free in this game. And Russ pulled it off. Gotta give him big props for that, man. Nicely done. So we're gonna go finalize that, and I'll show you all the leaderboard standings. Hell yes, man. Alright. So after 3 qualifying tournaments, our leaderboard as it stands right now, we've got Tim the Wilder, Rusto, and Scrambled Egg Special, all with wins. I'm up here. I lost a Scrambled Egg last night. That's where he got his win. Vampire Coast was just too overwhelming. And he swept everybody in that tournament, too. So big props to him. We'll see. We'll see if I can get a win this season. I got one last season. This is my first one. My goal is to just keep improving on that. I want 2. I want at least 2 this season. I'm going to try and play a little more as well. But Solosaur is right behind me. Solosaur is definitely going to get some wins. Barely lost against the Dowie, and Soli was very upset with their performance from what they were saying in Discord to me after the game. So we'll see if that changes. Grombrindle almost had it there, but we'll see more of Grombrindle, I'm sure. Grombrindle didn't play too much last season. We'll probably see a little bit more of him this time around, and it's always nice to have some Dowie rep into everybody. And yes, that's a really good point. Harrison is hosting a tournament tonight, guys. Get in there and support him. Oh yeah, I should change my my clan tag. I'll get on that later. But R2K gonna get some rep in there. We won the inaugural tournament that Turin hosted, so we've got more to give. We'll definitely get some more over time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the tournament. I will be back probably later tonight. I won't promise that I'll stream again, but we'll see. I'd like to be able to play in tonight's tournament as well. Just kind of depends on how things shake out. But signing off here. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.